Special counsel Robert Mueller made a public statement Wednesday offering more insight into the findings of his investigation into Russia's election meddling. As CBS's Laura Podesta explains, the White House insists this indicates case closed, even though Mueller clearly refused to clear the president of obstruction charges.
Special counsel Robert Mueller broke his silence yesterday, announcing that his work was done and his office was closing. In his first public remarks in over 2 years, Mueller emphasized that he had not exonerated President Trump of obstructing justice.
If we had confidence that the president clearly did not commit a crime, we would have said so.
His words were in contrast to the White House's repeated claim that Mr. Trump had been fully cleared of any wrongdoing. Mueller cited the Justice Department policy that says a sitting chief executive cannot be indicted.
Charging the president with a crime was therefore not an option we could consider.
The White House immediately pushed back.
Look, we think the president has been fully and completely exonerated based on the fact there was no collusion, there was no conspiracy, and there was no obstruction.
Many congressional Democrats had a different take on Mueller's statement. In a tweet, Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren called it an impeachment referral.
I think it was very clear. If he could clear the president, he would have, but he couldn't.
Make no mistake, no one, not even the President of the United States, is above the law.
Democrat Jerry Nadler, the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, said impeaching the president has not been ruled out. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
Mueller said he intended his statement to be the last time he would speak publicly about the investigation, adding that he would not have anything to add if he were compelled to testify before Congress. Montana Governor Steve Bullock released his own response to the special counsel's press conference. He mentioned his past service as Montana's Attorney General in his analysis of the speech, saying he knows no individual is above the law. He went on to say Congress should fulfill its constitutionally empowered oversight of this administration, and the president and his staff have an obligation to be responsive to those investigations. Here in Billings, you will soon be paying more for water and sewer services. Beginning July 1st, the average single-family home would see an increase of $2.80 per month on their water bill and an average increase of 78 cents per month on their wastewater bill. On July 1st, 2020, the average single-family home would see an additional increase of $1.82 per month on their water bill and an average increase of 65 cents per month on their wastewater bill. Businesses will be hit with about a 3% increase for their water, and high-strength commercial businesses will see their wastewater rate go up 24% this year. Members of the City Council voted unanimously to make the changes at this week's meeting. The rate increase will also cover costs to finish a new wastewater treatment facility in the Heights and construction of the water reservoir and treatment plant on the city's west end. As wildfires continue to ravage parts of Canada, the smoke and haze is filtering into Montana. Nearly 5,000 people have been forced to evacuate an area of Alberta, Canada. The early season wildfire has burned more than 200,000 acres. Currently, the smoke is up higher in the atmosphere, which means it's not impacting our air quality. A Yellowstone National Park concession employee is recovering after being injured by a cow elk in Mammoth Hot Springs. It happened in the developed area of Mammoth early Wednesday morning. The female employee was taken to a local hospital by ambulance, but a park spokesperson declined to comment on her injuries or condition. However, park officials are taking the time to advise visitors to stay 25 feet away from wildlife, as elk calves are often bedded near buildings and vehicles. Wildlife biologists hazed the cow elk out of the area where it was reunited with its calf. A month ago, Governor Steve Bullock vetoed a bill that changed the definition of wild bison in Montana. Now, Secretary of State Corey Stapleton says that veto doesn't count, and that bill has become law. Stapleton announced his decision Wednesday on Twitter, but Governor Bullock's office says Stapleton's interpretation of the law is wrong and that the veto properly killed the bill. Bullock vetoed the bill within 10 days of receiving it, as required by law. His April 29th veto message says the bison definition contained in House Bill 132 would threaten bison hunts and create confusion in bison management. But Stapleton says the veto notification wasn't officially returned to his office until well past a 10-day deadline, and therefore the bill is now law. Bullock's office says no such 10-day requirement exists for a veto notice delivery. In the words of Bullock's press secretary, the law is clear on our side. The governor vetoed the bill. What's not clear is how the dispute will be settled if neither side changes their respective position. A Democrat state senator from Missoula says he's running for Montana's Secretary of State. Bryce Bennett is the first Democrat to announce a run for the seat in 2020. Bennett says he's a leading advocate for voters and access to voting. Bennett has a record of sponsoring bills to make it easier for voters to return absentee ballots. The current Secretary of State, Corey Stapleton, is running for governor next year. Business owners, experts, and state leaders met in Helena to discuss challenges working parents face in finding affordable childcare. The Montana Department of Labor and Industry says Montana ranks 40th in the nation for dependable childcare. And right now, there are only enough childcare resources to meet 40% of the state demand. The Childcare Solutions to Support Your Workforce Summit looked at Montana's early childhood system, the economic impact and opportunity, and at successful efforts from businesses in Montana and other states.
We know that having access to high quality childcare is really important to parents and families so that their kids can get a great start in life. But we also know that with workforce participation rates higher than ever and unemployment as low as ever, we really need for employers to be able to have access to those employees, and when they have to leave the workforce because of the cost of childcare or because they can't afford childcare, that's a detriment to our economies.
Help and guidance is available for those in need of child care through the Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services. Well, today is the day bargain direct flights from Denver to Billings and back take off. Frontier Airlines will land its first flight from Denver this afternoon at the Billings Airport and then turn around about an hour later and celebrate another full flight of at least 180 passengers headed back to the Mile High City. Right now, the direct Frontier flights are scheduled for Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. Billings Logan International Airport calls the flight a win-win for the airline and the community. Despite nailing a 12-letter word, it's the end of a spelling bee journey for a 13-year-old Billings girl at the Scripps National Spelling Bee.
Heteronymous. Heteronymous. Heteronymous.
Correct.
Annie Condon is a 13-year-old student at Ben Steele Middle School. She was one of 369 spellers who got all their words correct. However, judges narrowed down the list to just 50 people based on an earlier written test. Condon, unfortunately, was not one of them. The final round begins today. Becoming a parent is exciting yet intimidating. Getting ready for a baby is a big burden, especially when you aren't sure how you're going to make it all happen. Well, that's where organizations like Family Service come in and ease those worries. As Montana This Morning gets ready for a Family Service baby shower, I wanted to find out more about the need in our community. Welcoming a new baby into the world, you want to give it the world. But the reality is, it's not possible for all families. And that's where Family Service comes in, giving moms and dads-to-be that extra support and security.
It's just expensive when you first start out with a new child. And so we try to help alleviate that stress by making sure that they have very nice items to put on their baby.
Family Service offers moms-to-be a bundle for their new bundle of joy. They include everything from blankets to bottles, books, toys, and gentle baby soaps. Just about anything to make that transition from pregnancy to new parent as painless as possible.
We do a layette for all of the expectant mothers, and we like to put in gently used or brand new baby clothes that have been donated, and we like to put in diapers for sure. It's the most expensive part, I think, of having a newborn.
And their support goes beyond the material things.
We really look forward to helping parents enjoy that new child, being able to have, like I say, that quiet time where all that stress can be put away. We have even had opportunities within our building to say, come in for a second and just sit in the office and just be able to relax.
So this is your invitation to the Family Service Baby Shower a week from today. We're accepting new and gently used baby items to help families get ready for their new arrival. Montana This Morning will broadcast live from their new offices and retail store on 1st Avenue South, just past State Avenue. Anything baby, we'll gladly take it. Join us as we broadcast live from 5:30 through 9 a.m. on Thursday, June 6th. You can also get a tour of the new building with your donation that morning. We hope to see you there. Before we take a break, the small Asian country of Malaysia vows not to be the world's dumping ground and says it will send thousands of tons of plastic waste back to where it came from, including the U.S. CBS's Terry Okita reports from London.
We call this recycling, but Malaysians say it's rich country's rubbish and they're tired of being dumped on.
Malaysians, like any other developing countries, have a right to clean air, clean water, sustainable resources, and clean environment to live in.
Malaysia has identified 14 developed nations, including the U.S., Canada, and Britain, that send their unwanted recyclables to its shores. Last year, Malaysia became the world's top destination for millions of tons of plastic waste after China stopped importing it. Government officials say their small Asian country is becoming a garbage heap of electronic, household, and contaminated waste, and insist they won't be bullied by bigger nations.
We are compiling the list of the so-called recycling companies from this developed country, and we will send back.
Environmental leaders vow to return some 3,300 tons of waste and put pressure on governments to investigate and stop illegal shipments. They've also shut down more than 150 unlicensed factories in Malaysia, and officials promise to keep fighting against what they call unfair and uncivilized practices. Terry Okita, CBS News.
Last week, the Philippines also said it would ship back dozens of containers of garbage, which it claims was illegally shipped from Canada. Malaysian officials say China's plastic waste ban shows the huge waste problem around the world. Stick with us here on Montana This Morning. Still ahead, a new study shows how energy drinks may affect the heart. We'll have more on that a little later. It's 45 degrees in downtown Billings, and the time is now 6:13. Stay with us.
You're watching MTN News with Victoria Hill and Storm Tracker weather with Ed McIntosh. This is Montana This Morning on Q2, Montana's news leader.